In this screencast, we'll look a little bit at why I think schools need to change. So here's a picture of my typical class when I was a student, with desks and rows. Sometimes the desks might have been together in groups if you were lucky, but often it was facing the front, facing the blackboard, desks and rows. Now this approach was considered okay when a teacher's job was simply to pass on facts and information in what we call an industrial model of education. If it was really, really important, we would often copy it into our books. Now, I would ask, what type of pedagogical intent is shown here? The desks are in rows. How does that promote collaboration or even quiet reflective time or working with others? It certainly doesn't. Schools' jobs were to transmit knowledge, but it's no longer possible to know what knowledge people will draw on as they move through life. Students need to constantly update their content knowledge. Alternatively, students who have become critical thinkers, risk-takers, creative and self-directed can learn by themselves. John Edwards talks about students being lost in a sea of blah. Teachers during those industrial times were knowers of knowledge, but today's knowers belong in Noah's Ark. No longer are students viewed as vessels to be simply filled with teachers' expert knowledge. Current education tends to focus on just-in-case learning. Lots of facts and information, just in case you'll need it. Brilliant for pub quiz if you ever make the tiebreakers. However, education now should be just-in-time learning. Students able to access and create knowledge anywhere, anytime, and any place. What we need is one size fits one. If we believe that everyone brings different prior knowledge to a topic, and no two people learn the same way, doing the same thing at the same speed, then it certainly doesn't make sense to have a classroom set up with everyone facing the front doing the same thing at the same time. One size fits all. Did it work? For some, yes, but for many it's not meeting the needs. This graph is a pretty sad indictment on schools, showing the decline in engagement over time. Our new entrants start absolutely loving it. Now, whatever happens during the schooling system, unfortunately it declines around that year 8, year 9, year 10, often called the forgotten years. I certainly don't think this graphic would indicate the percentage of students at Te Kōwhai that love school. This is more an American model, but I would imagine that the New Zealand schooling system would certainly show a drop-off like this. Now, if students don't leave school with a love of learning, they're going to be really disadvantaged in today's knowledge society. The New Zealand curriculum is a great document, and it really does encourage change and innovation. The New Zealand curriculum states that their vision is that young people will be confident, connected, actively involved, lifelong learners. The term lifelong learners would suggest a change in the way students are learning to enable them to transfer the skills taught to other contexts so they may continue to learn throughout their lifetime. Inherent in this is the expectation that there will be accompanying changes in the way that teachers teach and in the school environments that allow this change to occur. In 2008, I recall Minister of Education Steve Mahari challenging us to be the shock troops that bring our education system into the 21st century. Research tells us that learning is largely social and that up to 90% of feedback within a class comes from other students. This learning pyramid shows the retention rate of learning through different types of teaching approaches. We can see here the lecture approach, very little retention, through to when you are doing things or teaching others, a very high retention rate. So gone are the days when a class in silence would be said to be highly effective or humming. Who knows what was going on? It was likely too hard for many and too easy for others. Classes now are a lot noisier, but often it is engaged on-task noise and discussion as students collaborate and speak with each other. In terms of this pyramid, I often recount my own teachers' college training. Some of the lectures that we had, I really do struggle to recall much from that, but my 3 teaching practicums, one in Gisborne, one at Woodstock and Hamilton, and one actually over in Las Vegas in the States, I can remember the students, I can remember the teachers, I can remember all of the experiences we did. That is true learning, rather than just regurgitating basic facts and listening to someone talk in that sea of blah. There is a lot more discussion and questioning occurring in classes. Kids did used to sit, work through textbooks and worksheets. There is nowhere near as much bookwork anymore, but that's okay because you look here at the retention rate of really what learning is. So for us, many of the changes required are offered through the creation of innovative learning environments, which I'll outline in some separate screencasts. Thank you.